Hi, hello, welcome. It is time for another Saturday video. I don't know about you, but it has been really hard to find energy to do anything recently. I think it'll get a little better now that the sun is out a little more. But I've been meaning to record this all week and am just getting around to it now. So here we are. I also had a really hard time trying to figure out what I wanted to record this week, and with the help of two friends, I combined two ideas, and I'm really excited now about what I have to show you this week. So, we're going to talk about some five-star reads in a rainbow stack. I have 9 different books to show you. They range from red to black. My voice is a little scratchy today because I think allergies are starting to kick in now that everything is back in full bloom. So we're going to do this quick and get through it so you don't have to listen to me scratch on through. For my red cover book, I chose With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I adore this book. It has kind of a reddish bind, which is why we're going to go with it. Amani is in high school, and when she was a freshman, she had a baby who is now almost 2 years old. Amani, her Amani lives with her grandmother. Her father is in Puerto Rico. All she wants is to be a chef. She loves to cook. It's her passion. She can kind of just lose herself when she's cooking food. Her school decides to offer an elective class where at the end of it, there is a field trip to Spain where you can go and work with a chef. So after a lot of can I make this work between homework and being a mom, she decides to take it on, and she and her grandmother are going to figure out a way to make her go to Spain so that way she can get the full experience. This book centers so much on identity. I actually used a part of it this week in class. The chapter Black Like Me does a fantastic job of talking about who she is and where she fits in the world around her, and how she feels like she doesn't always fit in, but she is who she is and she's going to keep doing her thing. This book is absolutely incredible. It is so well written. I pretty much will read anything by Elizabeth Acevedo at this point because anything will be a 5-star read. I thoroughly enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed Amani's determination. I enjoyed just the plot of it and a little bit of suspense, but then things working out. It was really well done. But Elizabeth Acevedo also always has points where you go, what the hell? They drops and it's something that you're not expecting. Oh, but it always seems to work out, which is good. So I thoroughly enjoyed this book and you should definitely check it out if you haven't already. With the Fire on High is my red covered book. For my yellow covered book, I chose Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. This actually has a yellow spine, so I'm doing the spine stack. I listened to this book on Libro FM over the summer, and I was a little confused about it to start, but once it gets into this story, it's phenomenal. It is a blend of mythology and cultural social issues that are currently happening in our world today. Tavia is a siren, and sirens are illegal. They're not supposed to use their call. It's dangerous. There's also I think there's wolves that are a part of it, and there's serpents and just different mythical lore creatures that all come together at different points in time. She lives with her adopted sister Effie. They're not really adopted sisters, but they're really close friends and they're always together. And so Effie's just staying often at her family's at Tavia's family's house. I just really appreciated the social commentary of this book and how well it blended with mythology and was just so relatable in June or July when I listened to it with everything else that was going on. It ties perfectly together with the Black Lives Matter movement and kind of dabbles in different social issue areas. I loved these characters. They were true teenage girls. They were up and down and they were all around, but they were so supportive of each other throughout the whole thing. And I just really admired their togetherness and their relationship that they had. At first, I wasn't sure that this was a 5-star for me, but the more that I sit on it, the more it definitely was. And I would love to go back and reread it again at some point soon. I am probably going to talk about my orange book until I die, but that's fine. I just love this book so much. The characters, the plot, the things that come up throughout this book are just mind blowing. Genesis is in middle school. Her dad is actually an alcoholic and he often will lose his job. And so they have to move from place to place to place. So she's always restarting at a new school. Her mom always seems to have a steady job, but there's a lot of back and forth between her and her dad. There's a lot of instability. Her dad can also be mentally abusive. He will be verbally abusive to her, especially when he's been drinking and he comes home. he will pick on her for the color of her skin. She is very, very, very dark, and all he wanted was a really light baby who would be beautiful and could be successful in the world. And so Genesis internalizes a lot of that, and she gets to a part where she actually tries to lighten her skin, and it becomes kind of dangerous. Genesis also has this gorgeous voice, and she's such a talented kid. She wants to become a singer, but she's constantly being put down by those around her. And it's like how she lifts herself back up to survive and thrive in this world that she's in. I had to like snag it off my shelf real quick before it got checked out again, because I have kids who keep reading it and then recommending it to others, which is fantastic. But I have to bring it back on Monday, so I had to film it with it this weekend. Strongly, strongly, strongly recommend this book if you haven't had a chance to either listen to it or read it. I listened to it and it was so well done. So well done. For my green cover book, this is something that I buddy read with Allie. It is Mosquito Land by David Arnold, and this book dives so deep into mental health and mental illnesses. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was phenomenal. Min is the main character. Her parents are divorced. Her dad's getting remarried. She finds out that her mom is sick in Ohio, so she just gets on a Greyhound and she goes. And she's like all about who she meets at different points in time. And it's about her own journey on discovering like who she is and having to deal with her own mental health issues throughout the way. She is witty, she's sarcastic, she's such a fun character, but all of her wit balances out like the internalizing that she has going on. Phenomenal read, super good book. Absolutely loved the adventure behind this and just like how everything worked out at the end. And the ending kind of left me like, did that really happen? But it was really good. It was really well done, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. For my blue cover book, I chose Moonrise by Sarah Crossan. This book is actually written in verse. It is all about 17-year-old Joe, who his brother Ed was arrested 10 years ago and put in jail. Ed reaches out to Joe and swears that he did not commit the crime. He's actually on death row, and he's trying to get off before the date actually comes. So Joe goes and travels to where he is in Texas to go see if he can like at least go be with his brother again before he dies. And it becomes this whole investigation into whether or not what actually happened did happen and if they could get him off of death row in time. It is suspenseful. It kept me on the edge of my seat until the end, just hoping and praying that things worked out and that Ed truly was innocent and that he could come off of death row. Whew, it was a really emotional book, but it was so well done. For my purple cover book, I chose You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. This book is just a perfect teen romance book without being a teen romance book. I don't know how else to explain it. This lady has always thought she's too poor, too black to like fit in with the world around her in her Indiana prom obsessed town that she lives in. All she wants to do is get out of school so that way she can go play in an orchestra at a college and become a doctor. That's like all she wants. Her tuition ends up not going through. She's not accepted into the orchestra that she wants to be accepted into. So without that tuition, she can't afford to go to school. When you run for prom king and queen, if you win, you get tuition assistance. There's a scholarship that goes along with it. So this turns into this whole chaotic plan of having Liz run for prom queen so that way she can get the scholarship to help pay for her schooling. There are so many things in this book. It focuses on LGBTQIA+, it focuses on social justice issues, it focuses on like cultural differences between different classes. When I was reading this, there are so many different aspects that I laughed out loud because I got the cultural references, and when I book talked it to my students, not all of them did, so that made me laugh even harder. This book was so lighthearted and so funny while tackling some more serious and complex issues. Highly recommend. For my pink cover book, I picked The Benefits of Being an Octopus because of its pink spine. This is by Anne Braden. I used this year in my social justice book club unit, and it is just a phenomenal book. So many of my students relate to this book. Zoe is a middle school student, and she lives in a trailer with her mom and her mom's boyfriend and her younger brother. Her mom works, so when she comes home from school, it is her responsibility to do the dishes, clean the house, make dinner, watch her little brother. So school is often not a priority for her. It gets pushed onto the back burner. And that really kind of becomes a problem. All she wants to do is be invisible. She doesn't want anyone to bother her. She just wants to like go about her day and take care of everything that she needs to take care of. At one point, her teacher has her join the debate club because they don't want, they see that she's trying to be invisible and they're trying to bring her out of her shell. And it's this fantastic opportunity for her to really become who Zoe is instead of trying to be who everybody else wants her to be. She gains confidence. She just becomes this incredible human being. This really helps to drive her and discovering who she really is. Phenomenal book. I absolutely love it, especially just because I know that so many of my kids are Zoe, and so every time I read it, I'm just always reminded of them. For my white cover book, I chose Stamped by Jason Reynolds and Ibram X. Kendi. This book is awesome. It is so awesome. They constantly say it is not a history book, and it's not, but there is history in there that the history has brought us to where we are at the here and now, which is important, right? You have to have the base foundation in order to understand like why is it that we are here in this particular situation. It is a fantastic book for teenagers to be able to grapple with the history that maybe isn't always taught in schools and to help them learn to become an ally, an advocate, an anti-racist. Listening to this book was incredible. Jason Reynolds narrates it, so like top notch there, and there's music throughout, which was really, really cool. This book stunned me at different points in time because there was definitely history in here that I was like, I never learned that. This has become such a journey, and I am intimidated by the adult version of this book. This book did a great job of breaking it down in a way that I could wrap my brain around and understand about the complexities of the world that we are in and how we have gotten to the point that we are at. Absolutely amazing. I suggest that everybody adds this to their classroom shelf because it just does such a wonderful job of breaking down everything for teenagers. Last, but certainly not least, is my black cover book, Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Come on, you knew I was going to add this in here somehow. Having recently reread this, it is definitely a 5-star book for me. At first I thought it was a 4-star, but that's because I listened to it. Going through and like reading the characters and everything, they're just incredible. They're so funny. They are all of different personalities, but they blend so well together. Leigh Bardugo does such a beautiful job of intertwining everything that happens in this book. There are so many on the edge of your seat moments where you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. In this book, Kaz is offered to do a heist that is beyond anything they've ever done before. So he gets our favorite crows together and they go and do the heist. And I don't want to say much more about it because I know a lot of people are reading it right now and they're getting ready for Crooked Kingdom, but we're just going to leave it at that. I love, love, love this book. I love it so much. So much. Nina Zenik is like my favorite character. Nope. Jesper is my favorite character. Nope. Kaz is my favorite character. I can't decide. I love them all. No mourners. No funerals. Alright, so these 9 books make up my rainbow stack of 5 stars that I strongly recommend for anyone to read. If you have read any of them, let me know. And if you haven't, reach out and tell me your thoughts if you decide to pick them up and read them. I would love to hear from you if you also found that these were 5-star reads. That is all I have for this Saturday. I hope that you have a fantastic St. Patrick's Day on Wednesday, and I will see you back here next Saturday for a new video.